Hello, everybody, and welcome to OpenExO Live. It is great to be with you this afternoon or evening or morning, wherever you are in the world. And today we have Jyotirmoy Bose, who is with us from India. And as you can see on the screen, we have some amazing community members that are up in the coming weeks. And so before we get Jyoti onto screen with us, I am going to just share a few words that come from some of our community members. And so we'll start with this one from Suman. And he just said, Jyoti is a rare addition to our community. Selling a sprint isn't easy, but seeing Jyoti in action is like seeing poetry in motion. His approach is smooth as silk. His confidence beats anything that I have seen so far. His read of clients and ability to handle them is simply brilliant. Now that I am working with him on the very first sprint in India, I owe him a large drink once we are out of COVID. Jyoti, 3 cheers on that. We need many more sprints from you and to keep growing the EXO community in India. We needed this break badly, and we have been given that gift to us all. Next, we have from Daya. Jyoti is simply amazing. He thinks bold and achieves bold things as a result. He is a super flexible person, very easy and fun to work with. Yet he is meticulous. No important detail would ever slip his attention. I really look forward to listening to this conversation with him. Next, we have from Mac. I had the opportunity to work with Jyoti during our sprint coach certification. He is thoughtful, well-organized, and an out-of-the-box thinker. His calm and focused leadership helped our team to achieve our goals in an efficient and cohesive manner. Next, from Amrita, she said, Jyoti is an absolute pleasure to collaborate with. He facilitates a synergy between creativity and logic to bring the best out of others and drive incredible outcomes. And then lastly, we have from Deepak, Jyoti is a highly experienced and results-oriented problem solver with a deep understanding of corporate dynamics and global opportunities. His clarity of thought and unique perspective make him a valuable exponential thinker who is always a pleasure to work with. So, Jyoti, welcome to OpenExO Live. How are you doing this evening on your side?
Wonderful, completely overwhelmed by the compliments that you read out. Thank you, everyone. Suman, Dia, Mark, Deepak, Mac, Amrita. Thank you so much, overwhelmed, and I hope I do some justice to whatever the setup.
Perfect, perfect. So, Jyoti, we always start OpenExO Live by asking our guest to give us a background about yourself. So tell us about yourself and ending up how you joined the OpenExO community.
Sure, thank you. So I run an organization and leadership advisory firm, White Spaces, serving medium and large enterprises in South Asia, mostly founder-led and/or family-managed, sometimes private equity controlled, and also with government entities or authorities in the Middle East. We have been helping clients in organization capacity building and leadership development transitions. The two go hand in hand, and you need to engage with both concurrently to deliver some lasting impact. Organization change or transformation, call it what you will only stick if the leaders change, learn, unlearn, grow along the way. Else that immune system overwhelms everything. We are lucky that all our mandates are always contracted with the top boss, not C-suite or lower. So implementation journeys are easier to execute relatively. I have to thank COVID, the virus, for my joining the EXO community. Prior to the pandemic, I was mostly on the road, sometimes in the air, and I was away from home in New Delhi for 20 days a month or more across countries, even continents. Mid-March 2020, I was grounded and I had heaps of time on my head. I first read Salim's book, Exponential Organizations, then discovered and loved Abundance by Peter Diamandis. And then one thing led to another onto this wonderful journey and into this so giving and generous OpenExO community. Thank you.
Awesome. And that's really great to hear. So definitely one good thing in the global pandemic. And so, how would you say your journey, in this EXO universe has been sort of so far?
It's been a wonderful romance so far, and the honeymoon continues. And I hope, and my team also keeps joking that we hope it does. I first read all the books there were by Salim, and then Peter and Steve Kotler's Abundance, Bold, The Future is Faster Than You Think. I even read Exponential Transformation by Francisco, Michelle, and Salim. I attended some marathon all-nighter by Salim in October last. Then I completed the certifications in Overdrive. I did the foundations in December last year, consultant in Jan, sprint coach and trainer by March. I even started the ambassador program in April, but put it on hold as we sold our first sprint and I got consumed with its rollout. I even volunteered to help with version 2 of Salim's book, but backed off in the end as the sprint workload took up too much of my time, bandwidth. I also encouraged two of my team members of my team to explore the EXO universe. And today I'm proud to report that the only 2 women EXO consultants in South Asia are valued members of our team.
Awesome. That's really great to hear, Jyoti. One thing that we speak about a lot is driving much more women into the community, more women participation. I see there Suman has just said on LinkedIn, you rock, Jyoti. Martin, I also see your question there. You can reach out to the OpenExO community in many ways through the OpenExO website, join the community. And so, Jyoti, so like Suman said, you have sold the first 10-week sprint in India, South Asia, in fact, which is to a company called Trident, which is a textile manufacturer, right? Making towels and papers and these sorts of things. Once it was posted on the platform and you spoke about it, I went and looked them up and I noticed that, hey, the towels that I use here at home are in fact made by Trident under a local brand. So quite interesting. So, congrats, number one, and tell us a little bit more, like what you can, about this assignment.
Sure. Thank you. Actually, it fell into place quite rather beautifully, kind of without fuss. I was introduced to the founder, the chairman, RG he's called, by a dear friend who's also on the Trident board on, if I recall right, 25th of February this year. We met in Delhi, social distancing in a boardroom and all of that. I listened to him talk about his business plans and challenges for 15 minutes. And then I contextualized EXO in 10, no slides. The abundance mindset part of my pitch found deep resonance with him. Then he sat silently for a minute before looking me in the eye and saying, I get it. Tell me, when can you start? I blinked and he says, give me a date. My Adam's apple bobbed up and down. And before then I said, Monday, 15th March, like kind of 3 weeks from then. We were yet to discuss price. And we started on 5th April, a full 10-week sprint with 3 international coaches and 2 from India. 3 core streams, one of them textile, yarn and home decor, 1 paper, pulp and chemicals, 1 e-commerce and digital 4.0, and 2 edge streams.
My goodness. Now, that's 2 things there as quick follow-ons. That 10 minutes that you did, was it recorded? Some people in the community might want to ask that, but how important did you think it was that the C-suite at Trident are looking for being future-proof, looking for change, and sort of were buying in? How important was that?
Very important. In fact, what has happened is, as we went into, we did some homework before the meeting, and I found that they're a $1 billion company, and they have announced plans in the media to become 3.5x in 3.5 years. That's huge, and they have no idea. They set up it's a media posturing. They've got BCG on the ground trying to help them, and they don't have an idea. So now they've made this commitment out in the open into the universe and don't have a clue. So I guess when the fact that we talked about exponentiality and the fact that this can grow, And what we were saying did not seem like, the one word they kept using was BHAG. It did not seem like they were going to get there. If you're cynic, you'll say this was another straw that they were clutching at. He saw some hope and possibility and some underlying robustness of the fact that we were talking about, what I keep saying, that micro is the new mega. So we take micro baby steps and then we get there. So I think that seemed to have resonated. And the fact that we are going to drag and drop people from all over the universe, this abundance was not just talk, but we would be able to do that. Fact that I would take ownership for the implementation was a huge thing for him.
Yes, no, absolutely. And now I understand that initially you are a certified coach, and so initially there was you were thinking about coaching in the sprint, but you've actually decided to step down from that. And I was just curious if you could share what led to that decision.
Yeah, sure. So as I said, I had told him, I had committed to him 15th March, and then we started on 5th April. This 3-week delay was essentially due to RG is the founder chairman. His expectation that, not expectation, insistent that we, White Spaces, our company, put skin in the game. He kept saying skin in the game. His clear ask was that we take accountability, that all the initiatives approved for launch in week 10 are incubated for 100 days, and that's not enough. We then program manage the implementation for the next 18 months for a zero fixed fee and a juicy uncapped upside linked to pre-agreed market traction metrics. I agreed. So in effect, the launch in week 10 is actually only the end of the beginning. That is the end of phase 1. Phase 2 is 100 days of implementation, incubation, and phase 3 is program management of this implementation. He doesn't have faith that his people can drive it, and he's seeking our support in getting this done. Otherwise, these brilliant seeds that the launch throws up may just die. Okay. And I quickly realized he was dead serious. I also saw that Trident's immune system was formidable enough to combat the strongest vaccine. I agonized over it for a week or so, sought counsel with my 2 lady EXO consultants, and finally came to the painful decision that I must forego the thrill of my first sprint coaching assignment to focus on strengthening Trident's readiness to embrace, adopt, adapt, and implement the sprint outcomes. Painful, but now I realize we are in the 2nd week of the sprint as we speak. And I'm each passing day, I think I made the right decision. No regrets.
Perfect. That's really great to hear, and amazing that you've taken that route to ensure that the initiatives that come out in week 10 are given the required and necessary nurturing, right? To ensure that they do grow. Like you've said, company immune systems and most organizational immune systems are fairly strong, and so by being able to nurture the outcomes that come out at the end of the 10 weeks, that is very vital. And so great insights from both Trident and yourself in those decisions. And now I know that from speaking to you and speaking to Suman as well, that you're really focused on driving the sales of sprints to transform organizations, in India as well as South Asia, but looking at India with the population at 1.4 billion. I mean, a country that has many opportunities. So can you share how what your approach is to pitching the 10-week sprints there in India?
For the time being, for the next year or two, I'm focusing only on large organizations. Large organizations are like deer in the headlights. They can see, but they're too stunned and even dazzled to act. And if they decide also to act, they don't know how to. And when they know how to or have help on how to, they need support to navigate through the immune system and the naysayers. because that's the boat which is their cash cow and they don't want to rock it. I am often asked by my friends and even prospects that who is competition for EXO sprints? And I've come to the conclusion, I've come to realize that the big four are not. And why are they not? Because they're focused on incremental, linear, not quantum exponential. And why is that? They talk about it, but why can't they? Because they think present forward, not future backwards like we do. We look at where the technology will go 3 years from today, 5 years from today, and then try to pivot in that direction. Thirdly, most of them, including people like Gartner and all, as I noticed, see technology as a key enabler, not a driver or even a determinant of business outcomes. The game has changed. The new economy people get it. The old economy, even tech companies who are in the non-EXO universe don't get it. And finally, and something I want to thank Suman for, these firms are focused on embedding consulting, not capabilities. We are embedding capability. We don't do the work. We get the work done. We enable it. We seek, demand, and even insist on getting their time. And how much time? 20 hours a week. We insisted on that. At least 25 members, 10 weeks. That 5,000 hours at the level of key resources at senior levels. That's a huge commitment, not small. Attention is the most scarce resource in the universe. And we want 5,000 hours of that in 10 weeks. Messing up people's calendars, And calendars are the real dynamic of where the power play of organization gets reflected, right? And the more I have your calendar, the more you're wrangling your way into the power dynamics of the organization. What this does, I'm realizing this more and more with every passing day, while Suman and team run the sprints and I'm managing the ecosystem on the other side, that what are we doing? We are rewiring. We are not selling a product or a sprint. We are rewiring the decision-making process in this organization. And so who's our competition, to answer the question? It's the immune system of the company, nothing else. Okay. And it helps if you're selling to the top guy or girl and not into the C-suite or levels below. Luckily, we've been doing that.
No, absolutely. Someone was chatting to me the other day and asked me, what's Netflix's competition? And I was like, I don't know, like, is it, all sorts of entertainment? And they said, no, it's sleep, right? Netflix's competition is sleep. And that's quite similar to what you've just said now, right? That actually the competition of EXO is the immune system. And so really well said. And so what would you say is going to make for, successful sprint experience for clients? What are your insights there?
Early days, but insights right now are that we have to, in fact, RG, the founder, he gave this example. He said that Jyoti, I agreed instantly when you said, we signed on. I liked what you said, and I will give you all the support you need to, get it done. And the day I feel you're not getting traction or the team is getting distracted, I will walk away. He said quietly, but I'm sure he meant that. And he said, the analogy he gave is, he says, you put a spoon of sugar in one corner and come back after 2 hours, there'll be ants crawling all over. So if your sprint is sweet enough, the ants from all over my company, 20,000 of them, must keep wanting to get a piece of the action. So that's the test that he's asking. So I took a cue from there, and I said that what we have to do is we have to make because there are other initiatives going. They have high potential development people going to the premier business schools for programs, and we have come in the middle of this. So there's team A and team B already working on some talent development of a much more branded, premium nature. So we got team C actually. It doesn't sound, it's not so bad as that, because this is still the top 200 of the organization. But we got team C. So one goal I set for ourselves is team A and team B must feel that they want to be part of team C and they're missing out on something. So we went into overdrive on masterclasses and we opened it to everybody. First day we hit the number of, even though there are 35 sprinters, we had 100, then we hit the circuit breaker of 100. We extended the Zoom room to 500 because now we're asking everybody to come. Plus, we are doing lots of things to so that we can socialize the idea and the concept into the larger organization. So that's one thing. We are doing rapid iterations, very fast pace. thanks to Suman and the team's idea, Dia and Deepak and all that, what we are introducing is a fast, we have a coach's choice of the week for each sprinter, and that went out to all 1,800 management employees. So suddenly there's, hey, what's happening? The chairman is writing to people doing that. We introduced something called a fast pass. And what is a fast pass? In week 2, 3, 4, each of the sprinters may need time with senior management to bounce off an idea, to get data. So the fast pass entitles within the next 24 hours the person to get access to a C-suite person or anybody else, or a techie who he needs to go and explore something with, to get guidance on the sector, the domain, access to information and databases that the company has and he doesn't, as well as number crunching and presentation time. So the chairman loved it, and he told me that, why do I do it only for the sprinters? Why don't do it for team A and team B? I said, go ahead, be my guest. And so with that kind of support from him, and also I quickly realized that the digital dashboard and the capability of the organization is challenged. And if you want to take this to multi-location distributed place, I need to get there. And so I asked for the IT structure and said, you have an enabling structure. What about the go-to-market structures? So now I'm being put into a project team as of today to help them make the go-to-market on the digital side as well. So yeah, some of that.
Wow. So I mean, I love the way that that you've looked to. Oh dear, it looks like we have just lost Jyoti. He has dropped off the stream, and so we hopefully will get him back pretty soon. But it is just absolutely amazing what Jyoti has shared with us so far, and how really looking at that customer-centric approach, and also driving a shared value there. Jyoti, you dropped off right as you were finished speaking, but really amazing what you've shared there. And the last thing I wanted to ask you is just, what's your vision, for OpenExO, in your part of the world?
Yesterday, or the day before yesterday night, I was on one of the OpenExO platforms, and your namesake, Kevin Langley was the chief scientific officer. He was running something, a platform where Salim also came in, and somebody asked him, what is your vision for the community? And he said, in 2018, I don't know if you were there on that platform. He said, 2018, we were 400 odd members. 2021, we are almost 8,000. That's 20x. So I haven't thought about it. 2024, 1 million. And I said, wow, 1 million, I said, yeah, and that sounds exponential enough. So for me, I think the vision is 10 sprints in a year and 100 by 24 in South Asia and the Middle East. And and build a community around it, so that it's no longer side show, it's a main show. People still wonder, oh, EXO, what is that? I want people to say, I want EXO, and can you help us?
Absolutely, Jyoti. I mean, that's exactly what what the whole decade of the EXO that we speak about, saying that by the end of this decade, every organization needs to be an EXO. Really is truly what we believe, and it is community members like yourself that are going to, and many others that we have, that are going to make that happen, right? OpenExO as a core is a public benefit organization, and our mandate is to make our community succeed in driving transformation of the world for a better future. And so amazing to hear your story. In the comments, I think Nikki said we need a part 2 of this. There've been some really great comments from people, all saying this is amazing, and absolutely, I think, like you have also said to me in private, the outcomes of sprints that can be shared publicly, you really want to also get that out, to show how it's happened, what the difference has been, and how we can make a change in the world. So, last words from you that you have to share as we end off today's call.
Yeah, I have a vision for my role in the EXO community. We have an abundance of sprint coaches, and we'll have more. We don't have an abundance of sprints. I want to work on getting an abundance of sprints for the sprint coaches. That's my vision for the and its multiplier effect downstream.
Perfect, Jyoti. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to following up with you, to also watching the sprint process. And yeah, thanks so much, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you, Kevin, for having me. I enjoyed it, and thank you for your kindness. Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So that was Jyoti from India, sharing some of the insights around the EXO sprint that's about to happen in India, as well as some of his thoughts about changing the world, changing organizations, becoming more abundance focused and exponential. So if this is something that actually excites you, you can join us for the version 2 of Exponential Organizations event that is happening in 20 minutes time. And so if you're interested in doing that, you can head over to link.exos.2/part2, and we'd love to see you there. If someone could put it in the chat, that would be amazing. And thank you so much. And we'll see you all again on OpenExO Live next week.